So today we have Shaz. Shaz and I have been working together for probably, what you say, like over 2 years now.
Yes,
Maybe
coming up on two. Yeah.
coming up on 2 years. Had some
Yep.
crazy success, had some tough months, and I think this
Yes.
would be very interesting for Shaz to kind of like share her experience. More importantly, as a visual artist and where she also want to go in the future. So from here, I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself, Shaz.
Well, my name is Shaz Taylor. I like to introduce myself as the only visual artist that paints assets by providing my collectors with opportunities to build generational wealth through collecting my artwork. That's what I
And
do.
And let me say this. Along with that, me and Shaz actually did an interview a while back, and that interview
Hmm.
probably got the most engagement. Like everybody just fell in love with Shaz and her energy. So it should be interesting. So now I'm gonna ask you this:
Yeah.
if you had to describe, so I know you have your art in the background, but if you had to describe Shaz as a visual artist, how would you describe yourself
Myself,
as an artist?
um, myself as an artist, I would say I'm more like a free spirit. I like to, you know, paint or draw things that represent my culture, my ethnicity, but at the same time is very vibrant and colorful and bright and things that um like create beauty and bring joy. So I like to capture all those moments and intend to just, empower people and make them feel good about themselves and bring beauty to their home. That's
Yeah.
what I like to do. I like to have fun.
What, this is gonna be a tough one. What you feel is like the most powerful piece you created to this day?
That's hard because I don't think I have created the most powerful piece just yet. I feel like it's still in my mind. But if I want to say what piece I've created that exists, um, that's really hard. It's a cross between a piece that I did for myself, personal piece, and a commission piece. But I'm gonna lean towards the personal piece. And it's a very simple piece showing the back of a woman's head, and her hair is in a elegant bun with a crown. And I think that to me at this time is probably the most personal piece because I base the hair, which a lot of my work encompasses, is the beauty of black hair. And it's a black star sapphire. A lot of people think it's bread, but they don't know about gemstones and the meaning behind the stone. But black star sapphires are rare, precious stones that you really can only appreciate the beauty when you get very close up. And the meaning behind the stone, I really felt like it represented myself, women of color, especially Black women, that you can really only appreciate it when you are very close up and you see the beauty within it, and it's a star. But no one knows about it. No one exactly appreciated it. It's not popular. There's just like so many elements within that stone that I feel really encompasses and represents myself and my community. So it's not my most vibrant, fun, colorful piece, but I will say it's like straight to the point, very clean cut. And I think it's almost like one of the catalysts of why I do what I do.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. So I
Sure.
talk to a lot of artists and they always say, Jaroid, I create work, my work have to be seen in person. Have little details and little things that show differently when you face to face versus online. So with you
Correct.
having like these stones in your work, how do you
Yeah.
communicate or show those levels of details to those who buy your work across social media? Because that's where majority of your sales happen.
Right. Yes. Most of my sales do. It's really, really hard because I have some pieces. I feel like it does not matter the lighting, the angle. It is just so challenging to capture every um, element within the work through the camera. Some stuff you just have to see in person. And I've had several of my collectors right away message me like, oh my God, this is so much better in person. I like they go crazy all over again, like they've seen it for the first time. And that's because of some of the intricate details and textures and layers, like you're saying, my stone, the textures, even when I play with different sheen levels, there's just certain things that you can't see online, but when you have it in person and you're able to appreciate it, they really, really, really are happy with their purchase. So,
Yeah.
um, to answer your question, I mean, I do my best to capture it, but at the end of the day, you kind of have to fall in love with the work, and then when you
Yeah.
see it in person, you'll just fall in love with it again.
So do you tell them ahead of time, like before they purchase, such as like, hey, by the way, this piece have these precious stones in it. You probably can't say it that well in photo, or you just let them see it once they get it.
I'll let them see it when they get it. I don't say nothing. I don't. I mean, if anything, no, I don't say nothing. I kind of just like to let them discover, even when it comes to commission pieces and they don't know what it's going to look like. I don't even share process photos.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to see it for the first time when you get it. And I think that element of mystery, they really enjoy and appreciate. And it also saves a lot of headache because some people will send process photos and then people want to have their opinions and all that kind of stuff. I don't deal with any of that. If you hire me, you have to trust my artistic license. Let me do my job. You do your job and sit back and wait, and you'll see when you get it.
Yeah.
We're done.
So, and now it's crazy you say that because a lot of people they like I need to see the art beforehand. They want typical updates about the piece, and you don't do any
Hmm.
of that. However,
Hmm.
you and your clients have like a crazy relationship, like a really close relationship. So, how would you say, or what would you say, have led you to be able to build those strong relationships with your customers?
What led me to build those relationships?
Like, how did you build those relationships for them to have such a strong relationship with you?
You know, just be human. Like, so many people are just afraid to just be themselves. All you gotta do is just be yourself and be human. And it's not really about, saying the right thing or the wrong thing or anything like that. It's more like I just ask them a few questions, and when they start to share with me, I actually listen and I actually engage and I actually care about what they're saying, you know? And what I'll get from a lot of people is that they feel like they've known me for years or I'm easy to talk to. And it just really depends. Like, I'm not trying to brag, but my collectors, like, they love me. They love me and I love them too. They are really good, genuine people. And I just feel so grateful to have had the opportunity to build relationships with them beyond the art. So when we build that relationship beyond the art is just like an easy thing, They'll hit me up and be like, "What you got going now? What you doing? What you working? What's that in the background? Are you hiding stuff?" And I'll be like, "Listen, I'll show you when I'm done. Get out my studio." You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like they just really, really appreciate my openness, my willing to listen to whatever they might be going through, and then they can relate to that. And then they just when they see the artwork, they already know what to do. It's easy for them to just go ahead and make that purchase. It's
Now,
just building relationships and being a real person. It's really not that hard.
yeah, I know a lot of artists. They think like the selling side is so complicated because like, oh, what to say? I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
I'm scared they're just not gonna want it, and you just like just be you, just have a genuine conversation.
Yes, absolutely. Here's the thing. If I've always said when I am the person purchasing something, I'm not gonna fight you to give you my money, right? So if I gotta go through a whole bunch of hoops to give you my money, then I'm probably not gonna buy. When I flip that and it's someone the other way around, if I have to beg you to get my artwork, it's not for you. I shouldn't have to beg you to want my stuff. You either gonna want it or you're not. You either gonna resonate it with or you're not. So if you come to me or if I come to you and we have a conversation and you just absolutely love it, I'm more like, oh, well, please tell me why. Tell me more. Wait, you Like, what did you see? Like, we just go back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was talking to another lady the other day, and she was just like, "Oh my god, this is the best." Like, she just kept going, and I'm sitting here like, "Thank you know what I'm saying?" Like, grinning from ear to ear because of like, I mean, like low key. At some point, I sometimes think that people are like paying people to say nice things to me because when they fall in love with my work, at that point, I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna offer it to you. It's going to a good home. You know, I know where my babies are going, and I really trust and believe that you're gonna take care of this piece. So I be really really happy and grateful that they would even want to have it in their home. And anybody that is just like, oh, I don't know, maybe you ain't gonna
Not for
have
them.
it. Yeah, it's not for you, and that's okay. You know, everything ain't for everybody.
So here's the thing: we talking about people loving your work and buying it, right? And how important those relationships that you're building with those buyers.
Hmm.
Let's go into a little bit of detail so those who've seen this really understand what you mean when you say like having strong relationships and close
Sure.
relationships with your client. What's the most one client ever spent with you, like in total or sales?
Um, like in 1 year
Like let's
or
just say in a
total period.
year, like one person, it could be multiple artworks. What's the most one client spent with you?
Maybe $20,000.
20,000. All right. Now
About 20.
I know we've been working together, so I know how it happened and everything. But I'm actually to re-explain that process just to give those artists that's going to be watching this some insight on how they can also apply this. So first, how much was the first sale they purchased?
The first cell they purchased was 3,000.
Okay. What about the second? Is this well? First, let me make sure I'm on the same page. Is this the same person that brought that huge piece that you sent the gift to?
Yes.
Okay, like let's back up. Let's say they purchased the first piece, 3,000, right?
Correct.
How did you get them to purchase first? How did that first sale end up happening?
It's funny because I posted a picture of me working on some artwork, and they came straight into my inbox like, who painted that? Do you, do you know who painted this picture? Where did you get this picture from? And I was just like, I painted it. And they were like, you painted it? And I was like, yeah, because it was the back of my head. So they couldn't,
Yeah,
see my profile picture with the picture because I was like turned around, whatever. And they were just like, this is amazing. They just started going off. And I was like, thank you. Here's the thing, the painting that I posted, it was unfinished, it wasn't even finished. And so they started saying, this is so beautiful, da 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 da. And I was just like, well, do you want to see the finished painting? Because I was just working on that. They were like, yes. And I was like, all right. So I showed them the finished piece, and they lost it. They were like, oh my God. And I was just like, thanks. And then they were like, is it for sale? And I was like, well, I wasn't trying to sell it, but what you like about it? I kind of asked them what they liked, and they went into it, and we had a great conversation. And next thing I know, I told them what the price was. I told them it was 3,000 or something like that. They were adamant about paying like in a week or so. I was like, okay, no problem. So, like, when it got close to that week, they kept just telling me a whole bunch of unnecessary stuff about their financial situation, and they waiting on this check, yada yada yada, all this other stuff that I really didn't need to know. It was none of my business, but they were just so kind of sharing with me. And I was just like, okay, no problem. And they were like, I'm paying a deposit. We had a date for them to pay, and I guess they were just nervous about getting a check on time. But they ended up paying. Did they pay a deposit? Yeah, I think they paid a deposit, and I was like, okay, great, it's yours, yada yada. And then they ended up paying the full amount probably within 10 days from the first conversation, you know? And they were really adamant about paying for shipping because I don't know what I said. I said something about I don't remember. But they were adamant about paying shipping, and I was just like, no, don't worry about that. It's not a big deal. They were like, but you underestimated shipping. And I was just like, please stop. Stop telling me
Yeah.
what to do. It's fine. And so I shipped it off to them. I took care of them, packaged it really, really well. Not, throwing my artwork in some cheap TV box from Home Depot, like actually, sending it properly. And when they got it, they cried. I was like, I just was like, my art made someone tear, like happy tears. Like they were just like, I was like, I made a grown man cry. And I was like, I think I want to keep this up. I think I want to keep making grown men cry. So they were just so happy with it and just seeing the joy in their eyes and just like their face light up. I was just like, yes, this is the type of person that's supposed to be buying my work. It just made me like so happy, and it just gave me like confirmation that I'm definitely on my path doing exactly what I was supposed to be doing, like why I'm here on this earth is to bring people that kind of joy, you know
Yeah.
and I refuse to take their money for this little shipping amount. So I think that was just like they immediately after that, and they saw the kind of person that I am and the kind of integrity that I have. They were just like, "You're my artist. You are my artist," and like
So
really, really claiming me.
so here's the thing. At this point, they
Yeah.
spent 3,000. They super happy about your work. And they're like, "Yep, you're my artist. I want your art."
Yep.
How we
Yep.
get to 20,000? So how did the next sale happen?
When they started to claim me as their artist, they they as a he told me that he had been looking for an artist for like 20 years to do um Gaia, you know? And as soon as he said Gaia, I was like, wait a minute, because he's talking about, I was thinking of Gaia from the video games, because I play video games sometimes. He's just like, wait, video games? And then we just started talking. And anyway, so the point is, he called me up. He was super drunk, and he just started going on and on and on and on and on about the birds and the trees and the like everything he wanted to put in this painting. And I'm just trying to take notes, like, bro, you're talking way too fast. What are you talking about? So I just wrote down everything he wanted, and I was like, I'm gonna call you back. They was like, I want this painting big. I want it like 10 feet. Da, 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 da. And I was, uh-huh, uh-huh. Yeah, okay. Just writing it down, right? And then I told them to send me a picture of the wall. And when they said 10 feet, one thing I will say about me, because I studied interior architecture, I can look at anything and tell you the exact numbers. I was like, you can't do 10 feet. You're not going to have any room on the wall. And he was like, really? I was like, yes, get a measuring tape. And he was like, you're right. How'd you know that? I was like, I know numbers. Just can, I'm the one that suggested we reduce it from 10 feet to 8 feet.
Yeah.
And they were kind of on the fence about that. And I was like, you need to have visual space around the piece. Like, trust me, this is what you want to do. So they said we agreed on a size, and I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous as all to
So what
give them that
size did you
price
guys agree upon?
because 4 feet tall by 8 feet wide.
Here's the I put up the artwork too, so just for everybody. Here's this piece.
Yes, that's it.
I
Yep,
wish I
that
had
one.
the picture with you standing by it so they could see literally how huge that piece was.
You should have asked me. I would have sent it to you.
No, you fine. Is it on your Instagram?
Oh, it might be. Yeah, I don't know. It could have been. It might have.
It's
Yes, it was like at the end of a reel or something.
it's fine. I see if I can
Anyway,
find it.
I'm dwarfed to the piece. I was like, it was big as hell. And here's the thing. I will say I'm ballsy for accepting that project because um I was very much pregnant when I signed up to do this big old painting, and
Yeah.
I knew it was going to take me a long time. So I accepted the commission. Well, actually, let me backtrack. So I told them the price, and I was nervous to give them the price. I was like, okay, wait, let me think about this like a mural. is this size. And again, not just a mural, but I think like an architect because that's what I was trained as. So I'm thinking like square footage. I'm gonna charge this amount per square foot. Fine, whatever. And the number I came up with, I was like, I can't charge that much. I can't charge. That's crazy. Da, da, da. Like my mindset was not where it is today. So I reduced the price a little bit. Like I originally wanted to charge like 14,000, and then I ended up settling like around just under 12 for like 11.7. And I just
And that's how
felt
much you
better with that
charge?
number. Yeah.
11,700.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's such a random number, right? But
So
that's
here's
the
the
number
thing.
I was.
So you charge 11,700, so almost 12,000 for this piece, right?
Yes.
And then he agreed to the purchase.
Yeah. And I was like,
Well,
that should have said 14.
all right. Here's the thing. So this is the question I have. Once he
Yeah.
agreed to the price at eleven thousand
Mm-hmm.
seven hundred, right? At that point, we talking about a total of almost 15,000 in art sales from this one buyer, which is about
Correct.
14,700. What happened? And I want you to explain this
Mm-hmm.
for everybody. What happened after the sale, the 11,700, that led him to purchase more art from you?
Why?
Yeah, like
What
what
happened after
happened?
that?
Yeah.
Well, I made him cry again.
So, but walk through that whole little process.
Okay. Okay, so
Let's start here.
I lied. Yeah.
Let's start because I remember this situation.
I did share some details.
All right.
Okay.
But once he received the artwork, right? What happened?
Yeah. Uh so I was on I was on video. He called me as soon as I had my guys deliver the piece. And he unwrapped it and he just got real quiet. Like I'm just watching him not talk, say anything for it felt like forever, but it was probably only like, 5 minutes. But 5 minutes can feel like a really long time of just dead
Yeah, it is a long
silence.
time.
Yeah. And he started to notice all the little details because there's some little details in the piece. And I think this is fair to share. But based on the conversations that we had, like I said, I'm really, really, it's really important for me to build relationships, meaningful relationships. And there were some personal things that he shared with me um, that I symbolized in the paint. And the main one that I think that led to a lot of more purchasing is that he really wanted Gaia. He wanted that mythical goddess to be a black woman and what it represented. So that's what I painted. I gave him what he asked for, right? But then there were things I put in the painting that he did not ask for. And that was elements relating to his personal life. So he had a son that unfortunately passed away when they were very young in their early 20s. And his son really loved elephants. So when he shared pictures in his house, he told me what that elephant was and that it belonged to his son. So when I painted this picture of Gaia in nature and, with seagulls and trees and grass and butterflies and things like that sort, I decided, and I even watched this movie that we talked about, Fantasia, the new one, and just learning more and understanding what I was capturing, I decided to put an elephant in the painting to represent his son. And then there were other small details that represent him and his other sons. And then I put small other elements that just represented other important people in his life, but in an artistic way that only he would see. And as soon as he like opened up the piece, like the piece is like, you saw 8 feet, but the elephant is probably about an inch big on that whole canvas. And that was like the one part where he just like zoned in. And then right there, he was just like, "You gave me an elephant." I was like, "Of course I did." He just got quiet again. And after that, it was just like anything I made was gold. It didn't matter if it was a random sketch that I drew with Sharpie markers. He
Yeah.
was buying it.
Was this the same person who you sent the gift to?
It
Was that
was. I sent him that gift
so?
and I got
Explain
him.
that. How did you? Why first? Why you sent the gift? What you sent, and what was the outcome of that?
So the gift was a bottle of champagne from a black owned company because, all my stuff is pro black. So I had to get a really nice bottle of champagne from a black owned company. And I had it engraved with the title of the painting and thanking him with my nickname for him on the champagne bottle. And the reason why I got his champagne is because he drinks. He goes to the bar like I think starting on Wednesdays. He might wait till Thursdays, but he's at the bar every single weekend. So I knew if I got him alcohol, he would just be happy. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I did. I got him a really, really nice bottle of champagne. It was probably the most expensive bottle of alcohol that I've ever purchased in
How
my
much you
entire life.
paid?
How much I paid for that bottle? Probably just under 1,000.
So you literally gifted him almost $1,000 gift.
Yeah. It felt weird buying. I was like, why am I buying this? But I was like, no, he deserves it. This is for him. This is a gift for him, you
I
know?
remember you coming to me and be like, Drew, I don't know if I should spend that much on a gift. And I had to remind you, like, keep in mind this guy spent like 15,000 or
Right.
something at this point with you.
I
A
know.
$1,000 gift, I think you should.
Yes. So it was that. And I sent it separately. I didn't send it with the painting. Um, so he got it separately. I told him I was like, I got a little something coming for you in the mail. He was like, oh, for real? I was like, yes, please be home. Please be home. It's important. So I sent that to him and he was just like, Shaz, I love you. I was like, I love you too. He was like, wow, like, just over the moon, completely impressed. Like, he just, literally lost for words
Yeah.
a lot of times. And I mean, the conversation and the relationship that I have with this person is really, really, it's really, really good. It's really, really genuine. They just really appreciate what I can do for them, and I really appreciate what they've done for me because they believed in me at a time where really, really needed a win. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew what I could do, but I didn't know if I would ever meet anybody that would appreciate what I could do.
Yeah.
So it was like he was looking for me and I was looking for him and we finally found each other, you
It's
know?
it's funny. I talk about that a lot because I always tell artists, I say the biggest thing that's most likely stopping you is yourself. Is you being able to
Yeah.
believe that your art is worth what it's worth, and usually it
Yeah.
takes somebody else that want to purchase your work to help you see that value in your own work. So
I agree.
I get exactly what you said. That's something a lot of artists go through. Let me ask you this. So after making those sales, even with this one guy, that was like, I know we only talking probably about 15,000 worth of those sales, but overall, speaking of this, if you had to give another artist advice as far as like just belief and just dealing with self doubt as an artist, what would you tell them? Being someone who already went through this entire journey, had $20,000 months so consistently, what advice should you get to somebody else just starting out that have self doubt?
My advice to anyone that's just starting out is to you really have to start to think about it like this. Like maybe just do a little bit of research on quantum physics in a sense and say what you want to do, not what you want to do, what you're doing, right? Be very clear about what you're doing. Be very clear about the fact that whatever you're creating, somebody out there wants it, you know? And even though you haven't met them yet, somebody wish like my buyer, they had been looking for me for 20 years. I've been quote unquote BSing for 20 years, like they could have found me earlier had I believed in my ability to just go after. I had plenty of signs that this is what you're supposed to do, and I kept ignoring them and going off my path, listening to other people, like, oh, I should do this or I should do that. Like, stop listening to other people and telling you what you should do. Instead of going outwards, you need to go inwards and listen to yourself and be quiet and know, okay, when you meditate, when you are quiet, everything you need to know, you will discover that and you'll learn that and it will be crystal clear in your mind. And then the next step is you have to actually believe it. And when you start to believe it and start taking actionable steps to that, you there's no way you can't hit your goals. So if you have the mindset of like, oh, don't nobody want to buy my work, blah blah blah. Yeah, with that attitude, don't nobody want to buy nothing from you because you don't even want to buy nothing from you. Like you have to know that you're worth it. And I think
Yeah.
some artists have these limiting beliefs mainly because of that phrase that I hate, like starving artists. I hate that phrase. It is such a broke ass thought. Like, sorry, I don't know if I could. That is such the worst phrase in the world. Like, real artists don't starve. And if you are doing exactly what you're supposed to do, even if you don't see success right there today, you will find whoever is supposed to love and appreciate your art exactly the way it is. And you will not starve. You will be fed in everything: joy, happiness, finance, everything.
Yeah.
So I would say anybody starting out, you don't even know what you're capable of because you haven't experienced that yet. You just have to start somewhere. And as soon as you start, everything else will start to come to you. Everything else, it's like going down a hallway, a dark hallway with a flashlight. It's going to reveal itself each step, but you have to keep going. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this: for a new artist that's just getting started, what
Hmm.
would you recommend be the first step? Like, where should they start?
Like, as far as,
Becoming a full-time artist.
well, there's two places I think you could start. You could start with honing in on your craft and just focusing on making better art because that is a totally different mental space, and just focusing on that, right? And getting that to a place where you're like, yes, I really, really like what I'm doing. Or you can start selling it and allow the people to watch you evolve, because you're still going to do that first part. So, say for instance, if you want to just start selling it, I think the first thing that you should do, I mean, it's it's very simple. If you want to become really, really good at something, you need to find someone that is really, really good at that and model them. You need to hire a mentor. You need to join a community. You need to surround yourself with people that are going to love and encourage you to do whatever it is that you're setting yourself out to do. Because the company that you keep around you can make or break your career. So if you are around a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of naysayers, then you're not gonna really push yourself. So think about the people that are around you. Think about how you want to get to your goals and make actionable steps. I would say the first thing for someone starting out is literally to start doing research and see who is doing it really, really well and just start modeling them, start copying them, start understanding that process. That's what I would. That's my advice.
All right. Here's the second question. I think that was a really, really good answer too. A really good answer. Here's the second question. So now, as we mentioned, we worked together for almost 2 years,
Hmm.
from the very beginning up until now. Looking back on your entire journey, if you could change one thing that you think will really improve your process, maybe improve your sales up until this point, what would that change be? Like if you could go back and alter something, what would that be?
My stubbornness.
Tell everybody about that. What do you mean when you say your stubbornness?
I uh, I I'm I'm my only person that gets in my own way. Okay, like you know this about me. You told me before, Shaz, you fighting with yourself. I'm like, I know. Like I have to remind myself, like if I was resisting a lot when I first started working with you, everything that you was telling me to do, I was like, why I gotta do that? Why I gotta do that? I don't want to do that. Oh, here we go again. Like
even recently
everything.
even recently in like the
Yeah,
last 30 days, even after 2 years of sales, still to
I
this
was
day
still
questioning.
resisting. Like, yes, even like a couple weeks ago, you was like, Shaz, you have to do this. I'm like, but it's stupid. I just I didn't want to do it. And it's so sad. It's so sad. It's so sad because that is the one thing I would change is doing things faster. Stop resisting. Like anytime you are, how should I say this? Like not to be mean, but like not mean to anybody else but myself. Anytime someone's telling you how to make money, and if you don't have it, the last thing you need to do is resist that. Like just do it. Just try. Like I have to slap myself sometimes and be like, look, just because you don't, if you knew everything, you wouldn't have hired someone else to tell you. I'm smart enough to know that I don't know everything, and I have like a immense, desire to learn and grow, and the stubbornness in me wants to nitpick and ask a bunch of questions along the way, like, well, why am I doing this and why am I doing that? And it's like, just do it and see what happens. So I would change that. I would change me questioning every single step and just kind of being more open and trusting the process. I would trust the process soon. So you just have to do that. And I will admit, I didn't really trust the process. I was like, okay, I think this will work. We'll see. Like, we'll see. And then it did. And I was just like, wow, okay, let's do it again.
No,
So
that's
now you see, even recently, now I'm just kind of like,
now
I'm
we on
doing
the
it a
same
lot.
page.
And I wouldn't do it last month.
Now we on the same page after almost 2 years.
Sorry. Sorry for me. It's not for you. You've been doing your job. I'm the one that was, just slow to come around. And that I would say that is probably my biggest hindrance. I would probably have a lot more understanding of the process. I think now that I finally just gave in, everything makes sense. And that's what happened last time, the first time I was messed up. Once I finally gave in, I was like, oh, now everything makes sense. But I was asking the why before I got, and you just shouldn't do that. You should just do it and test it and see and just give in, and it'll work out. It's gonna work out. So that's what I would change if I could, to
Are
give
you a,
in
yes?
earlier.
Are you a full-time artist at this point?
Yes.
Okay, with you being a full-time artist, on that
Hmm.
journey of becoming a full-time artist, right? How
Hmm.
long, let's say since we started working together, how long it took you to make your very first sale?
My first sale, my first sale,
Like first sale once we began working together?
about 6 weeks.
6 weeks?
Yeah,
So about a month and a half. As
yeah.
far
I
as you could,
probably spent a month going through, the training. Yeah.
and then as far as let's say you start to find consistency and really have like some really good months, when did that start?
Consistency. I would say, okay,
And
so
let's say like your first over, I don't know, $7,000 month,
that was by the third month.
by the third month. So
Hmm.
3 months, right?
Hmm.
For artists that want to become a full-time artist, right? Like they,
Hmm.
let's say they have kids, or let's say
Which
they
I have.
also, exactly. Let's say they work, even let's say they start a 9 to 5 job and they have kids. What advice you would give them to work towards being that full-time artist?
Oh man. Okay, so confession. I always tell people I'm a full-time artist, but the truth is I am a full-time mother. and I am like a part-time artist. I am an artist that gets it in when I can. You know, it is a lot of work. And so if you work another job and you got children, I mean, it's I think people can change their situation no matter what situation they're in. Like you have to just trust and believe and make the time. Like I think some people don't really understand how time works and they'll say, "Oh, I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that." Well, the truth is, you saying you don't have time is just an excuse for you not want to do it. You have to make time. There is plenty of times where I am waking up early, doing my little thing. I only have a couple hours, and then I am straight because I homeschool as well. I homeschool one child, and I am nursing another one. Like, so my son is not even a year old yet. So I'm handling two kids, homeschooling. When I started working with you, my daughter was in school and I was pregnant. So I had a ton of free time, unbeknownst to me. I didn't even know how much time I quote unquote had, right? To put towards it. I almost like now that I have less, I have to work even harder. So yes, you could be exhausted, but I think what people need to learn is that you just might have to look at how you're spending your time and you might have to buy it back. So, my advice for the person that is working with children, but they still want to make, sales in their art career, you need to buy back some of that time. Stop spending all your hours doing laundry. Get a laundry service. Have somebody else do it. I have one, it's $1 a pound. Yeah, just spend the money, buy your time back because the hours you spend in doing laundry, you could be in front of that canvas painting. Find someone to watch your kids. It took me a long time just to go out of my way to be like, okay, yes, I need to hire a nanny. This is ridiculous. I'm running around like wrapping the baby, trying to paint and finish phonics class. Like, don't drive yourself crazy. Buy your time back. Um, Make your life a little bit easier. Simplify things. Everything doesn't have to be so complicated, and everything doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect, and be okay with you know sacrificing a little bit of time. Like I feel sometimes with my children is like if they want me to do this and I say I can't do this, I have to work on something. That sacrifice now is going to be worth it later. So I'm okay with being like, okay, I can only play this game for, 1 hour and then I got to get back to work. Because I think for a lot of, especially women, they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. You're getting pulled in so many different directions. You want to please your children and please your spouse. And then it's like when you're helping them or doing something for them, you feel good about that. But then when you don't feel good doing things for yourself, and if you do things for yourself, then you feel guilty for you not doing things with them. But there is a balance and you can find it, and you have to be diligent about how you're going to do that and carve out your time. Like I already wake up anywhere between like 4:30 in the morning and sketch out lots of ideas to paint. At that point, by the time I'm ready to paint it, it's more about execution and finding the time to do that.
Yeah.
And now one of the things that I'm gonna try, I haven't tried it yet, but I'm gonna try it this week and I'll let you know how that goes. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to bed at like 6:30. Yep, I'm going to sleep at like 6:30 in the afternoon, put my kids down. They gonna either be asleep or not. And the reason I'm going to bed at like 6:30 is so that I can wake up closer to twilight hour, like around 1 or 2 a.m. and just paint when it's quiet. I don't need an alarm clock because I'm passionate about what I do. I don't need some noise to wake me up. I'm so excited to do what I want to do that I just naturally wake up. When that happens to you, you know you're doing the right thing. At least that's my opinion.
Let me
You
ask you
know?
this:
Sure.
being an artist, I know you talk a lot about painting, but you also sell a lot. So,
Yeah.
what's that trade off? Because you're also not with galleries. So, how much
Right.
time are you spending painting versus how much time are you spending marketing and selling your actual work?
I honestly probably right now, currently today, I probably spend more time marketing and selling my work.
What would you say the percentage? Let's say strictly, not everything else, just Painting to
Painting
marketing and
to
selling. Would you say like 50-50%, like 50% painting,
mm-mm,
50% selling?
no, it's definitely it's like 70-30.
70-30. So 70% marketing and selling, 30% painting.
Yep.
I'm happy you
I
brought this up.
wish I could paint more, but I can't talk to people and paint at the same time. I tried it, it does not work.
Yeah, I'm happy you brought this up. I talked to a lot of artists, and they always say like, "Hey, Drew, I want to work with you. I see the results from your artist." And I always say the same thing. I say, "Here's the thing. You may see artists I work with, like Shaz, for example, that's doing $10,000, $20,000 months, and it's cool. But what you don't see is the amount of commitment they put towards the marketing and sales,
Yes.
because every
Yes.
artist want to invest an hour into marketing and sales and have the rest of their day painting. So for that artist, being someone that's full time mother, full time artist, full time business person,
Yeah.
what would you tell them is the perfect trade off as far as time compared to marketing and sales and then painting? What should they expect as far as time?
I mean, I don't I would love to spend 8 to 10 hours painting in a day, right? Like that just sounds so romantic to me. That is just not my reality. Okay. I'm lucky if I can get in an hour or two. But the trade off to marketing and pushing that is really the exposure and the opportunity to build those really, really personable quality relationships. And I say quality relationships because the people that are going to love your work, they'll wait for it. They'll be patient for it. You don't have to rush greatness here. You know what I'm saying? So as you're building that relationship with the people that are spending, they will love whatever you create. And they'll be happy that you created it, and it doesn't matter how long it takes you to do it, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and another trade-off is when they pay for something, money is energy. When someone buys my work, I'm like, I should do this again. I just get really, really excited. I was like, yeah, I did that. Okay, yes, how wonderful. And I'm just like ready to go and do it again. But at that same time, I'm just, finding that balance. Okay, I'm going to put in an hour or two for painting, and then I'm probably going to spend the other 4 to 6 talking to people, because as far as I'm concerned, you only need 1,000 diehard fans, and they will take care of you for the rest of your life, in my opinion, and maybe a lot of other people's opinion. But all you need is 1,000, and I got I have a lot of fans. Don't get me wrong. I have a lot, not a lot, but I have enough. But diehard ones, the ones that are like that will buy anything, I probably only have 5, and between those 5, they spent a lot with me. So I'm sitting here like, okay, what do I need to do to turn that 5 into 10? Turn that 10 into 20. Where let me get my first 100. Because after I get my first 100, it's just gonna snowball.
So with that being said, if you had to give advice, let's say to that mom, right?
Yeah.
That want to make 5,000 per month as a visual artist, how would you tell her? How much time would you say she should be investing in marketing and sales, and then how much time she should be investing in painting in a typical day?
Okay, well, there's a couple factors. Does this mom
Work.
work?
So
Yes.
let's
Okay,
say
that's a different thing.
we're gonna do two scenarios. Let's say
Yes.
mom one work a 9 to 5 job. She have one kid, and she's like, Shaz, I know you're doing it. I want to eventually become a full-time artist. If I could get the 5,000 a month, which is 60,000 a year, I'd be really, really happy. How much time would you say, with you working a 9 to 5 job and having a kid, how much time would you tell them to invest in the marketing and sales side of their art career? By the way, for
Okay.
those watching, this basically means how much time you should be investing in marketing yourself, talking about it, posting online, things like that. What would you tell
Okay.
them?
So I'm gonna put myself in the headspace when I was working my 9 to 5. First of all, stop talking to your coworkers during lunch break. That's not their time. That's your time to market. Okay. And you need to put time towards that. One of my jobs, I actually used to paint during my lunch break. I'd bring a little bit of paint, I bring a tiny little canvas, and I paint, do something, do a little do during my lunch break. I paint it, put it on my desk, and be like, oh my God, you did something. And I'd sell that painting that I did while I was getting paid to be somewhere else. So you really have to look at your day. It's like even if your job is demanding or stressful, you gotta put you have to you have to change your mindset. Like in the car ride home, listen to something that is going to inspire you to create something. And during that lunch break, while you're at work, that's when you should be putting some time into either sketching, painting, because yes, you can paint at work. Who says you can't? Or you need to put it into marketing. So that's 1 hour that you can get while you're at work, right? Or 30 minutes, whatever your break looks like for you. And then when you get home with your kids, I know you got to take care of your kids, whether you have one. The other factor is whether they have help or not, whether they have grandparents or nanny. If you have help, take the help, appreciate it, be very productive. If you don't have the help, then you're gonna have to carve out that time when they're asleep. It's at the end of the day, don't don't watch TV. Okay, stop spending your time watching somebody else make money. You need to be making money. You need to spend that time on your craft, whether that's marketing or sales. And once you get a collection, and I feel like a collection is really uh, open for interpretation, but a collection could be three pieces, right? You need to spend, I would say, every evening pushing that out, like marketing that. Don't get distracted. Don't sit up and watch Bridgerton. I know it's addictive. It's a great show. Yeah, I watched it too. But stop. Just stop watching the love stories. Stop getting into all of that. Just focus on what you're supposed to do and be really, really just hyper focused and get that workout. Because as soon as somebody purchases it, you're going to want to do it again and again and again. And yes, yes, I'm not saying don't take care of yourself, don't relax, don't get a pedicure, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, do that too. But be very mindful about how you're spending your time, who you're spending it with, and how productive you're being. Once you realize that you can get it done with the little bit of hours that you do have as a working mom with children, it how can I say this? It's like so important to show your children your passion because they will see that and you're not just modeling it for yourself, but you're modeling it for them as well and for future generations to come, you know? Like it's really important that you show them that work ethic and that you can do it. And it's completely possible. And I get tired too. I say I'm tired all the time. I'm exhausted all the time. But the energy and excitement about what I know will come is what really pushes me through to keep going.
Yeah. And I think that's a really, really, really good topic. And that's gonna lead to this. So for the artists that mom, not a mom, it don't matter the situation. But
Right,
those
right.
artists that think to themselves, I just don't want to be able to put that much time into the marketing and sales because a lot of artists believe I just want to create art. That's my dream. I just want to be in a studio all day, painting eight
Right.
hours a day, 10 hours a day, and I want to just make a living from my art. What would you
Hmm.
tell those artists
The artists that don't want to work.
on the marketing and sales side? They just like, hey,
Um,
my dream is to be in a studio all day painting. That's where my heart lies. Maybe
mhm.
30 minutes, maybe an hour on marketing, but other than that, I'd rather just be in a studio painting.
My answer to people like that is, hey, that's my dream too, babe, but that's just not my reality. These things ain't gonna sell themselves. And if you want to stay in the studio like that and not focus on marketing, then go ahead
Yeah,
and work with a gallery. Let somebody else handle it. They're gonna take half of that cut too. So go ahead. Paint all day, baby. And you'll get half the funds. But if you want to get all of the funds, you're gonna have to do some work.
you got to
Ain't
do
nobody
all
gonna
of the
do it
work.
for you. Yeah, you gotta do the work. You know what's gonna do it for you, and someone that will do it for you, they gotta get paid too. So you're gonna pay either way. You're gonna either pay in your time or you're gonna pay in somebody else's time. But to get the work sold takes time. Who's gonna do it? You or them? It's up to
Yeah.
you to decide.
Now, a couple things coming to the end. One, for the
Hmm.
artists that are like, you know what, I get it. It makes sense. I have to put in the work to make this happen, and I'm willing and ready to put in the work to make it happen. What would be your advice to those artists, no matter age, no matter they got kids or not? If they're like, you
Yeah,
know
yeah.
what, I'm ready to go fully in on my career. What should I do, Shaz? What would you tell them?
What will be my advice to the people that are ready to go, ready to rip, ready to run?
They're like, I'm ready to give my art career all I got. They probably can't leave their job, but
Right.
mentally they're like, I'm ready to go all in on my art career.
I will say the best thing that one of the things I advise is to it's okay to make mistakes. That's how you learn. Like if you don't make a mistake, you don't learn from it. And when it comes to business, it's all about the data. You have to try something so you know what it's going to look like so you can know which way to go. You don't know what you're going to well, you don't know what to do next unless you try. Put in an honest effort and actually try. If you do something and dollars don't make sense, then you're like, okay, I did it, I tried it, I know why it doesn't work, and now I can pivot and try something else. Okay, I did that, this is working. I'm gonna keep doing this. I also want to try something else. And then you just rinse and repeat and you keep doing that. But I also want to say to people that like are really like, okay, I want to go into my art career, they have to think beyond, at least for me, I have beyond just selling a painting. It's more than just selling the artwork. Like, how can you give back? How can you change your community? How can you change other people's lives? It's not all about just you. If you can get outside yourself and kind of change your environment, people people are just going to flock to you and they're going to want to with you. You can get into so many different ways of building yourself as an artist. And there's like just a lot of opportunities that you wouldn't even know existed until you take those first steps. So I would say just start working small, wherever you are, whatever makes sense, right? Even if you just sell a print for like $15, just start there. Just start and be that person now. And then as you evolve and develop, like I said before, I think it's really like working with you. I really think it's important to hire a mentor. And I think I've mentioned in our last interview that I knew I needed a mentor and I couldn't find one. I was looking for like 2 years. Yeah, it was like 2 years. I almost gave up because I was just like, damn it, I don't know what I'm doing. Somebody to help me. Like I knew what I needed and I just was trying to find it. So um I think things are put in place for you when you're ready for them. And when you are ready for them, you will see it, it will reveal itself to you. So you just have to start wherever that is and whatever that looks for you in whatever situation you are. Even if you're just like, well, I want to make art and I don't have no paints. Guess what? Your girl has sold paintings made out of Sharpies and tea. Okay. Been there. I've had my artwork completely stolen before and I just did whatever I could do with whatever I had, you know? So it doesn't really matter what your situation is. You just have to really get creative and, you know, think outside the circle.
Yeah.
Thought I was going to say box, didn't
Now here's the last question. I want a
Sure.
genuine answer. Being an artist who started out in the very beginning working with me, being
Yeah.
stubborn, making some initial sales. Now you're at the point almost 2 years later where you're kind of blowing up. You're getting 300,000 views on some of your videos.
I know. I'm so excited.
Being an artist have to work with me for 2 years, being stubborn, making some slow sales, then eventually having $10,000 and $20,000 months.
Mhm.
On top of that, now you're starting to get a bit of virality, having multiple videos getting 300,000 views. Going into the next 12 months, what's the goal for Shaz Taylor as an artist?
Yeah. Um. Okay. So The goal for me is to make more than what I own in student loan debt. Like, I know you're like, what is that? I owe like a quarter mil in student loan debt. If I can make more than what I owe in student loan debt, in my head, I'm like, I'm on my way. But honestly, I feel like 6 figures is not enough. I'm just on my path. So my goal is to just cross over not just 100K, 250K. Like that's the number in my head that I'm shooting for next right now.
So
So I
250K
would like to hit that goal.
in our sales.
Yeah, that's what I want.
In our sales.
That's what I'm getting in the next 12 months is to grow that exposure and just doing different avenues to get on that path. Building relationships, um, seeking deals, licensing deals, collaborating with others. Just I'm testing a couple different ways, and I have no idea how it's going to pan out, but I'm excited about it.
Yeah. So
That's
now
the
at
goal.
the end, everybody that's watching, so if they want to go ahead and find you on Instagram, where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram at Shaz Taylor Art. SHAZTAYLOR and then ART.
Okay, perfect. We want to end the meeting here. That is basically it.